Well, good morning. Welcome, everyone, to this session of Administrator Issues and Updates on June 3rd, 2025. County Administrator Gary Schmidt, would you please call the roll for us?
Yes, Chair Roberts, thank you. Commissioners West and Schrader are out of the office today, and you are welcoming Commissioner Helm to her first formal board meeting. With that, roll call. Commissioner Savas.
Present.
Commissioner Helm.
Present.
Chair Roberts.
Here. All right, thank you. And I also want to extend a welcome to Diana Helm, and it's going to be an honor to serve with you, and welcome. And I know you've been already meeting with people, and just like me, as was drinking out of a fire hose. So I want to thank you for your hard work already, and it's going to be lots of fun ahead. So
Looking forward to it.
Thanks. So Gary, how about you? Would you introduce the first agenda item for us?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, first is Auditor Notice of Transaction with Baker Tilly. This is referring to our financial auditors, Moss Adams. Elizabeth Comfort, Finance Director, will give you the update. Go ahead, please. Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Good morning. Good to see you again, Chair and Commissioners, and welcome, Commissioner Helm. Elizabeth Comfort, Finance Director. I want to let you know that on May 20th, the county received a letter from Moss Adams stating that they are merging with another accounting firm, Baker Tilly, to become, I think, one of 6 largest accounting firms in the state. So this is a positive move for Moss Adams. However, it is a name change, and we have used Moss Adams quite frequently. We have a 5-year contract. We're in the 3rd year right now for our accounting services for our annual audits. And so this name, Moss Adams, is going to go away, actually effective today, June 3rd. So we will be referencing them as Baker Tilly going forward. And I also want just to preempt you that I'll be bringing to you later this month a new contract with Baker Tilly for work paper accounting services. And so when you hear that name, it'll be our accounting services. And so we're expediting our accounting processes each year, and so having them assist us with our work papers for our ACFRs will actually help us in that process. So I wanted to be here to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Savas.
Yeah, just a question. When does that 5-year contract end, and will we be going out for an RFP at that time?
Yes, we are in the 3rd year now for fiscal year 24-25, which is ending at the end of this month. 23-24-25, it'll end for the audit season of June 30th, 2027. So that'll be the fall of 27 that will be using their services for the final time. And then that late fall, we try not to overlap while an audit is in process. We'll begin the RFP process for another audit firm.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. So if there's no other questions, this will move on for informational update only, and I'll turn to you, Gary, as to what's next.
Great, thank you. Next is the City of Esticada has requested a support letter for the Esticada Mill, Oregon Department of Transportation grant application. Tony Holowetsky, Director of Public and Government Affairs, will present. Go ahead, please, Tony.
Good morning, Commissioners. PGA is asking you to approve a letter supporting the City of Esticada's grant proposal to develop Esticada Mill Mixed Use Area Transportation Plan. The City of Esticada seeks grant dollars from the Transportation and Growth Management grant proposal from ODOT to support the development of an integrated land use and transportation plan for the Mill Mixed Use Area, a centrally located 90-acre former mill site. This property will serve as a land bridge connecting Oregon State Highway 224 to the center of town with a well-structured transportation strategy to accommodate future growth and connectivity. The project includes an extension of 6th Street to Highway 224, followed by the extension of Hillway to Highway 224. The planned roadway improvements will distribute traffic more evenly, reducing bottlenecks and enhancing overall network efficiency. Given the range of allowable uses within the mill mixed-use area, the city recognizes the need for active participation in the planning process. The anticipated increase in daily trips generated by these developments underscores the importance of a comprehensive transportation plan that ensures fluid connectivity, mitigates congestion, and prioritizes safety for all road users. This initiative aligns with state and regional transportation goals and will be developed in collaboration with key stakeholders, including local government agencies, transit providers, community organizations, and the public. Again, our recommendation is that the board approve a letter in support of the city of Esticada's grant application, and a draft letter was included with this memo.
Right, thank you. Colleagues, any questions or comments? Commissioner Savas?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, I'm definitely in support of this effort. But I will say I've been part of some TGM grants in the past, mostly in the urban area. And, I know that things change, processes change, staff change. So I'd be very interested in following this or being involved, if I can, if there's a position or a role, advisory, whatever, but I would love to be involved. But I think it's, again, important that we, number one, support the effort, but also make sure that, knowing this is more of a rural environment, that we would like it to be successful. And maybe we can bring some experience to make sure that in these TGMs, typically they set up an agreement, and the agreement and construct is such that what public input would be, roles, so on and so forth, is very critical. I've seen them go bad. I'm not blaming ODOT, but I think they have to be very carefully crafted. And I want to be a partner with the city of Esticada and ODOT in this regard. And
Okay.
so that's my input.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Helm?
I also fully support this. Esticada is growing by leaps and bounds, which I love, right? They're doing a very good job of it. So I fully support this. Agreed, though, with Paul that this is something we'd like to keep our fingers in, if possible, just to kind of see how it plays out. So I'm totally on board.
Great. With that being said, may I have a motion?
I move to approve that we send an approval letter in support of the city of Esticada's grant application for the TGM.
A second?
All right, Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the letter of support. Commissioner Helm has seconded. Any further discussion? The only thing I'd like to add is I follow up with my colleagues here. I talked to Dan Johnson actually this week already, and talked about the amazing things going on in Esticada and the ability for businesses. So I guess giving a big shout out that there's a lot of opportunities for both small and large businesses in the Esticada area, and we'd like to help you find a spot out there. So please reach out. So with that being said, Clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas,
Aye.
Chair Roberts.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Gary, what is next?
Next is Malala Apartments, payment in lieu of taxes or pilot allocation. This has gotten a lot of attention for you, commissioners, from the city of Malala. And we want to update you on what's going on and a potential solution. Presenting is Mary Rumbaugh, Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services, and Shannon Callahan, the Division Director for Housing and Community Development. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Welcome, Commissioner Helm. So just to give a little bit of background, in April of 2022, this board approved a payment in lieu of taxes, or referred to as pilot, agreement for Malala Apartments. A pilot agreement allows an affordable housing development to make a reduced payment in recognition of the lower rents typically charged at these properties and the broader community benefit they provide. Earlier this year, Malala City Manager Dan Huff raised concerns about how the $25,000 annual payment from this agreement was being distributed. So in response, the Housing Authority, along with the County Assessment and Taxation and County Council, reviewed the issue and it drafted an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, to address the concerns raised. I will hand it over to Shannon Callahan, Executive Director of the Housing Authority, to give a little bit more background as well as the proposed fix.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Shannon Callahan. As Mary said before I explained the IGA that'll be in front of you, I did want to provide a little background about the original pilot agreement that was adopted by this board in April of 2022. So in general, property taxes, as Mary said, are an important tool to help create affordable housing, to make sure that they can be developed and remain affordable. In Oregon, housing authorities are generally exempt from paying property taxes from affordable housing developments that we own. And even a minor ownership stake in a property will provide tax exemption status. In this case, to support the development of the Malala Apartments and provide 60 units of affordable housing, the Housing Authority became a partial owner of this property and extended its tax exemption status. To ensure that the community still received benefit, however, a pilot agreement or payment in lieu of taxes agreement was approved. The agreement calls for an annual payment of $25,000 per year for 20 years in lieu of traditional property taxes. The Housing Authority receives this payment from the owner of the apartments and then submits it to the county for distribution. So far, 2 payments have been made and distributed under this agreement. As Mary said, earlier this year, City Manager Huff raised concerns about how the payment was then being distributed. And with the help of County Council and the assessor, we looked into this and realized it did not fairly benefit Malala or its local taxing districts. So we moved really quickly to bring forward a solution, which is the IGA that you have before you. So this addresses the issue of the inequities that we uncovered, and beginning with the current tax year, the payments would be distributed more fairly to Malala taxing districts. While the exact distribution formula will vary based on a variety of different property tax formulas, the chart on page 2 of the memo will show how the majority of the $25,000 payment would be allocated for the current year. When we researched the issue that Mr. Huff brought up, we also encountered another issue, which was that the $25,000 set for the payment in lieu actually exceeded the taxable amount that the property would have paid this year by a few $100s. And so because due to state law, we cannot benefit a taxing district more under a pilot agreement than they would have gotten paid by property taxes, the majority of the funds will go as this chart states, and the IGA calls for the remainder, if any, to go under a uniform distribution. So sorry, it's very complicated, but just trying to explain the basics of how this agreement works. So that's generally what we're doing under this IGA, is making sure that we address that second problem we just talked about, so that the payment never exceeds what the taxing jurisdictions would have gotten, and that also makes sure that this payment does benefit the Malala area and changes how this payment is distributed every year. So with that, we would actually recommend your approval of this IGA, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Colleagues, questions?
Well, I'm not going to ask for many questions today, but I am more curious as to the structure, and, so I'll have a meeting, or I think just get some better understanding of how this would work if the subsidy, so to speak, was higher, exactly, right? So what you're saying right now is that, which is odd, right, that the taxes, it's almost a wash. It's clearly a wash. So really, it's really not an abatement at all, really. And in this unique year, it's actually a subsidy of sorts, or could be.
This year, but over the life of the 20 years, it's very likely that as property taxes increase, this will be a benefit to the development. But so yes, and we do have a meeting set next week.
Right. So I do appreciate that we've worked with Malala and legal to get this resolved. And so City Malala signaled that they're okay with this now? Anyone know?
I had a personal conversation with City Manager Huff. I think he understood and was supportive of the fix, and we've kept him informed the date that we were going to be here. So to my understanding, they are happy with this. I think they also have issues, however, with how this originally came about. And of course, they haven't received a fair distribution for a number of years.
Yeah, my understanding, I know apparently staff looked into this, apparently I missed the first meeting on this, but my understanding from a question that I had asked, I don't know, again, I can't remember exactly who it was, I thought it was the chair, but I could be wrong, that I think I recall asking the question, is Malala okay with this? And the answer was yes. But if that communication can't be validated and there was no communication with City of Malala, then that's unfortunate. And I think we've always done, if it's urban renewal, anything that has a redistribution of the taxes, we have always made sure we had buy-in. So I presumed again and again, but with the assurance that, again, going back 3 years, this was 3 years or 4 years?
2022.
Yeah, so 3
more
years
than
ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, so I support this, and, and I will, we should might make sure we follow up with the mayor, at least our staff, not your staff, maybe someone, PGA, to follow up, or someone, or the chair to follow up with the mayor. I'm happy to do that too, but I just want to make sure we got all their requests or concerns covered. So that's why I asked the question today, is Malala okay with this today? Thank you.
All right. I'd like to just comment it appears, at least from some of my conversation with Gary, that there might have been a lapse in notification of Malala. And I think moving forward, just making sure that we kind of have a paper trail in any other development. So kind of learn from our past. And I do want to give you both accolades for this quick fix and addressing it quickly. So that's what we're all about. We do make mistakes, so I appreciate how quickly you guys address this, and I'm happy to follow up with the city to make sure that this is kind of meeting their needs. So if there's no other questions, I guess I'd ask colleagues, in order to quickly address the concerns of our partners at the City of Malala, if there's no objections to placing this on the intergovernmental agreement on the consent agenda for our next business meeting, could I get a consensus on that? Getting a nod there, yes. So we'll return on the final consideration on, looks like June 5th, the business meeting, and we'll move.
This
on.
Thursday, yes.
Yes, so thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Gary.
Thank you. Next item is Esticada Moose Lodge Social Gaming License Application. Tony Marinick from the County Commissioner's Office will present. Go ahead, Tony.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chair Roberts. The county regulates social gaming. Esticada Moose Lodge has applied for a social gaming license. They've completed the process. The Sheriff's Office sees no reason to deny the license. Staff see no reason to deny the license. Here to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
It mentions, just to be perfectly clear, so it mentions are we renewing? Because the word renewable is in here, through an annually renewable. So is this the first application and therefore thereafter it's renewable, or are we renewing an existing?
This would be the first application from Esticada Moose Lodge. They would apply in the future to renew that license.
All right, thank you.
Great. Any other comments? Seeing none. If there's no objection, we'll put this on the action item required of us today, and this item will return for a final consideration. Again, it looks like on June 12th at our business meeting. So with that, thank you very much. And Gary.
If you don't object, Commissioners, we can just put it on this Thursday's business meeting and be done with it. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Great, we will do that. Thank you. Next, Advisory Board and Commission appointments. Andrew, go ahead, please.
Mr. Chair, I have 2 advisory bodies for your consideration to nominate today. The first is the Clackamas Workforce Partnership, which currently has 1 reapplication. Recruitment was not open, as this was a reapplication. The recommendation is as follows. Amy Nguyen to a 2nd term ending May 2028. The Board of County Commissioners could select other candidates or require further recruitment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Andrew. Questions, colleagues?
I move to approve Amy Wen to the Clackamas Workforce Partnership.
I second that.
All right. Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the appointment of Amy Nguyen to the Clackamas Workforce Partnership, and Commissioner Helm is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Mr. Chair,
Aye.
motion passes 3-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, clerk. And what is our second advisory body nomination for consideration today?
The second body, Chair, is the Emergency Medical Services Council, staffed by Health, Housing, and Human Services, which currently has one opening due to a term expiration. Recruitment opened to the public in September of 2025 and closed in October. Recruitment took place by press release, Facebook, Nextdoor, and the county website. Through this recruitment process, 3 applications were received, and 1 is recommended for appointment. The recommendation is as follows. Ben Sorensen to a first term ending June 2028. The Board of County Commissioners could select other candidates or require further recruitment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Questions, colleagues?
No, Chair, I move to approve Ben Sorensen to the EMS Council.
A second.
Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the appointment of Ben Sorensen to the EMS Council. Commissioner Helm is second to that motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas,
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Andrew. Gary, what is next?
Next is the Association of Oregon and California Counties membership dues. As you know, this is an association that supports those counties that have a large number of federal timberlands, and it supports us receiving our allocation of federal dollars for these lands. The annual dues for membership in this association for this year is $31,015.52. This is funded with general funds. It is budgeted each year, so it is in our office budget. However, I bring it to you to confirm if you want to renew our membership in this association. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
I presume Ben is our forestry person, I won't say temporarily, but we'll be doing assignments this month, so he's okay with this, and
He is, yes.
All right.
Can you
Commissioner
just
Hill.
give me a little background on this?
Yes, way back in the 1800s, again, there were Oregon and California Railroad, kind of was responsible for building the railroad that went through mostly forest lands owned by the federal government. So an agreement with the federal government and the president back then in the 1800s, this is really off the top of my head, made an agreement that those Oregon and California Railroad, quote, lands, which are federal lands owned by the federal government to build the railroad, will be compensated by the federal government for the loss to cities and counties that owned that land that was owned by the federal government. So it was created decades, centuries ago. The association still exists. The loss of federal dollars for federal lands has been really significant over time. So this helps advocate for federal government supporting those federally owned lands by counties in the United States. Did I miss anything, commissioners?
all I would say is that when we have our AOC conference in November, you'll get a taste of the complexities by attending some of these annual meetings and other meetings and fill you in. But I do know there's a lot of politics and trying to lobby to get more of our revenue back for those lost lands and so forth. So some of these monies go towards not just advocacy, but attorney fees as well, organizational fees to promote and fight some of the challenges we have to recover some of our forestry money.
And this is different from AOC, which is the Association of Oregon Counties.
Right.
This is the Association of ONC counties. A little different.
Good clarification.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the dues, the ONC county dues for $31,015.32.
Second?
It's 52 cents, please.
Okay, 52, sorry.
Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the payment of the 2025-26 Association of Oregon California Counties dues as presented. Commissioner Helm has seconded that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner Savas,
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Andrew. Gary, what is next?
Thank you. Next is review of your board business meeting agenda for this Thursday, June 5th, 2025 at 10 a.m. You have a significant consent agenda list because as we near the end of the fiscal year, the list will get longer and longer because most contracts or governmental agreements expire June 30th of the fiscal year. You will meet as Clackamas County, the Housing Authority of Clackamas County, the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District, the Development Agency, and Water Environment Services, all for consent agenda items. And you will have separately a public hearing on an annexation to Clackamas County Service District Number 1 for sanitary sewer and service water agreements in Happy Valley, and your regular public communication and commissioner communications. If you have any question on any consent agenda item, if you'd please let me know prior to Thursday so I may have the appropriate staff in the room to answer your questions. Thank you. Back to you, Chair. Final item is commissioner communications for the list today.
All right, thank you. And I try and go by seniority, and Commissioner Savas, you're senior here, so I'm going to let you go first.
Senior today, yeah. Second to Martha as far as years served on the county commission. Real quick, lots of things to talk about, but I'll just keep it narrow to what's in front of me today, and that is this afternoon I'll be going to Portland for a TriMet meeting with regard to the 82nd Avenue. As I understand it from my briefing yesterday, there's a lot of moving pieces to this. There's a regional flexible funds application for 82nd Avenue for $30 million. We also have a RFFA application. Initially, we asked 15 million, but due to some resistance, it was reduced to 12,500,000. TriMet has not necessarily been supportive of this effort because I'm not exactly sure why, because I think they want to leverage the money into building something. This 15 or 12.5 million would essentially be development money for the Sunrise Corridor to prepare for the next phase of construction. So we have to go through a lot of planning and processes. So this afternoon, Commissioner Scholl actually, in the course of the 82nd Avenue high-capacity transit, I'll call it that, effort on 82nd Avenue, he was our representative, and at the end of the year, I went to the very last meeting to fill in for him. I think it was in January, the very last meeting on this. And, the board's position at the time and Commissioner Scholl's position was to support the alignment or the alternative. And so I verbally did that, and now they are asking for a letter. That's not what's on issue today, per se. We'll be talking about that next week. But I just want to let you know that what I learned yesterday was that as this thing's growing, what they want to do, and many of you are familiar with 82nd Avenue, if you can imagine it being one lane and taking a lane away, which is called a BAT lane, a BAT. So it'll be only for buses and vehicles making a right-hand turn. So as you all know, what I assumed would happen was that they would widen and make right away and widen it so that they would actually make room for the bus and not take away lanes. So if they take away lanes on both sides, that's going to create a lot of havoc. I'd be concerned as a business owner. I would be concerned knowing what that's like when you have bumper-to-bumper traffic. You don't get traffic in your door because people don't want to sit in traffic to get to you. And I'm also concerned about the town center. So as I understand it, even ODOT might have some concerns about this because it's still a corridor, but the property and 82nd Avenue is being transferred to Portland Bureau of Transportation. So while it is a state corridor, it will be owned by PBOT. So there's a lot of moving pieces of this. Granted, 82nd Avenue needs a lot of work, a lot of safety improvements. I mean, it needs a lot of improvements. But I think a lot of us envision this taking shape a little bit differently. So I will be at least in the room this afternoon, and I'll bring you back maybe Thursday, whatnot, and then maybe even Tuesday as this develops and whether or not we want to support the alignment, the LPA, with some recommendations or concerns. And also, there's concerns about displacement, because if the property values go up because they make all these changes, then that means there'll be a lot more people falling into homelessness, and being so close to Clackamas County, that could have another impact on us as well. In short, that's brief. I'm happy to answer your questions. With that, I yield back, Chair.
All right, Commissioner Helm.
Oh, I'm just simply drinking from the fire hose this week, so it's my second official meeting, so no questions. I will have many more to come, though.
Well, you've been doing wonderful jumping into this. And just a quick comment, as you know, the Budget Committee met last week and really several marathon sessions. And there was robust discussion about funding of Clackamas County programs and services. And I think it was also clear that our revenues will not meet the demand for services, unfortunately, due to the courthouse. And I'm not saying we didn't need a courthouse. My concern is that funding model and how it is now impacting our direct services. So a prior board approved that funding, the replacement of the courthouse with general funds, and that decision is made. So, however, that decision, again, has caused some additional drain on funding for services the public expects from their local government, especially stable funding for public safety. And I would like this board to review all the options moving forward to ensure that our core critical services like public safety are adequately funded. I think we should consider seeing where revenues could be structured differently. For example, do we increase the public safety levy, or do we keep it the same? Creating a public safety district may be an option, and eliminating the enhanced law enforcement district and the public safety levy. There are some options Gary and I have talked about that could actually even lower property tax, which I am all about. And we've also had discussions about even charging out of county, not people that live in Clackamas County, but people that come to visit our county, also from other states, that perhaps, they pay an additional fee, and because it does impact our parks. And so it could be things like that. I just think we really have to think outside the box. So I just ask my colleagues to consider these ideas, and we'll have further discussion at our board retreat in 3 weeks. And I think it'll be a good time to really kind of just discuss where the future of this county is financially. And we just work hard together to come up with some resolutions, and appreciate your consideration on that. So if there's no other matters, this concludes today's administrator issues and updates. We'll take a short break before we begin the scheduled land use hearing. We'll adjourn now and return shortly.